Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. Got lots of NHL news to discuss, so make sure that you stay tuned in to this episode until the end. Just a couple announcements before we go ahead and get started. As always, do me a favor. If you are new to the podcast, your first time listening, checking out the podcast, discovering the podcast, or whatever the case may be, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching the podcast on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio on audio platform, follow me on there as well. We are with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, hit that notification bell as well. Make sure that you follow the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio so you don't miss an episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast and so you can stay up to date on the latest NHL news. Also, the NHL Frozen Frenzy is tomorrow, Tuesday, October 28th. For those who don't know what the Frozen Frenzy is, this is a day, usually on Tuesdays, at least from my perspective, this usually happens on Tuesdays during the week. It's a day where all 32 NHL teams will be in action. 16 games, 32 NHL teams, one great night of hockey. There'll be a 15-minute puck. There'll be puck drop every 15 minutes. I will go more into depth about this on the preview video on the TG Hockey channel, which that video might come out either later on today or tomorrow morning. I will let you guys know. I will post on Twitter, on Facebook, or like somewhere on the YouTube community post tab. I will post on there when the video will come out. But yeah, I will go more into depth about the Frozen Frenzy on the TG Hockey channel. I might even have it come out on the Hockey Talk with TG podcast, but most definitely will be a video on the TG Hockey channel, so stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the NHL news for today. We'll start things off recapping the Tampa Bay Lightning and the VGK Vegas Golden Knights. So Nikita Kucherov, he scores in overtime as the Lightning win 2-1 over the Vegas Golden Knights. He scored 32 seconds into overtime, started this play all by himself after the turnover by the Golden Knights. 2-on rush up the ice with Brandon Hagel, and Nikita Kucherov puts it past the blocker of Vegas goaltender Carl Lindbom for the overtime game winner. This comes one day after Nikita Kucherov scored his 1,000th career point in the Lightning's 4-3 win over the Anaheim Ducks on Saturday. And the Lightning moved to 3-4-2 of the season. So, pretty good weekend for Nikita Kucherov. And for the Tampa Bay Lightning, they have back-to-back wins for the first time this season. Brandon Hagel also scored for the Tampa Bay Lightning, so he scored his first goal of the season. Had a goal assist for 2.9, not a bad performance from Brandon Hagel. His first goal of the year came on the rebound off a shot from Tampa Bay Lightning defenseman and captain Victor Hedman. And Jake Guentzel also assisted on the goal. Hagel's first goal of the season snapped a goal-scoring drought and providing that spark for the Tampa Bay Lightning's top six. So he went through 9 games, excuse me. I had to think this over for a second. 9 games, and he had no goal. So he had to go through 8-9 games to get his first goal of the season. Andrei Vasilevskiy made 18 saves on 19 shots faced the net. First win of the season for Andrei Vasilevskiy as well. He looked sharper, more confident in this game. Made some key saves in the Lightning's win and maybe 1 or 2 key saves in overtime. Nikita Kucherov scored 32 seconds in, so there was not really that much to say on that. But for the Golden Knights, William Karlsson scored the lone goal for Vegas. This was his fourth goal of the season. And this play started with control zone entry by Shea Theodore and Riley Smith with a cross-ice feed to William Karlsson, and gets Vegas on the board to tie up the game at 1 before the Tampa Bay Lightning eventually won it in overtime. And Carl Lindbom made 26 saves on 28 shots to face the net. This was Carl Lindbom's NHL debut, first game in the NHL for him. He was drafted in the 7th round, 30th pick of the 2021 NHL draft by the Vegas Golden Knights. He played in the AHL with the Henderson Silver Knights, which he had a 1-0-0 record with a 1.00 goals against average and a .958 save percentage and 1 shutout in 2 games. Despite the loss, I felt like he played very well. Not bad for his first game in the NHL. Had calm rebound control and poise in traffic, and head coach Bruce Cassidy called this debut a quote-unquote bright spot. So, not a bad performance from Carl Lindbom in his NHL debut. He made some timely key saves in this game, and he put on a show for the VGK, Vegas Golden Knights, despite the loss. Golden Knights have lost 2 straight games because they were in Florida on Saturday against the Florida Panthers. Sunrise, Florida, not Tampa, Florida. Sunrise, Florida on Saturday against the Florida Panthers. They had a 3-0 shutout loss to them. So they have now lost 2 straight games, and it's not looking good for Vegas. But despite that, they played a really great performance in this game. They held their ground against Tampa Bay Lightning. None of these 2 teams had scored in the second and third period. Tampa Bay dominated the puck possession in the second period. Outshot the Golden Knights 11-2 alone, specifically in that second period. But rookie goaltender Carl Lindbom was up to the task, and the Golden Knights responded with a stronger third period, outshooting the Lightning 11-3 alone in the third period. But Andrei Vasilevskiy turned aside every chance, made some key saves in that frame. Overall, the Lightning outshot the Golden Knights in this game 28-19. Face-offs narrowly favored in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Both teams went 0-2 on the power play. Lightning went 2-1-0 during their 3-game homestand, so not a bad homestand for Tampa Bay. 0-loss coming to my Chicago Blackhawks, as the Blackhawks will win 3-2 in that game last Thursday. Lightning will be in Nashville to take on the Nashville Predators Tuesday at 6:45 p.m. Central Time. Again, odd time, I know, but that's because it is Frozen Frenzy Day. So goes back to my earlier point of saying that puck drop will happen every 15 minutes. Golden Knights will be in Carolina against the Hurricanes Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Central Time, hoping not to lose 3 straight games in a row. They are 5-1-3 of the season, so not too bad. Just didn't put that in my notes, so I had to look it up on the NHL standings. I forgot to mention that in my notes, so that's on me. But yeah, 5-1-3 of the season. Looking not to lose 3 straight games in a row. So we'll see what happens in Carolina as the Golden Knights face the Carolina Hurricanes on NHL Frozen Frenzy Day after their overtime loss to Tampa Bay Lightning. Speaking of the Tampa Bay Lightning, I just want to congratulate the University of Tampa Spartans D3 hockey team on winning the Battle of the Beach championship yesterday. Got it done against ERAU, I believe that was the team name. Great victory over the ERAU Eagles, and congratulations again to the University of Tampa Spartans on winning the Battle of the Beach championship. I have worked with College Hockey South in the past. I don't work with them now. But yeah, just again want to give my congratulations to the University of Tampa Spartans on winning the D3 Battle of the Beach championship. Great performance from the Spartans, and I think they won a couple championships before in the past. Their D2, their D1 team have won a couple of championships before in the past. Even the women's hockey team there is good. So they have a really good group down in Tampa. And, can't wait to see more from them. We're moving on from the Golden Knights and Lightning game to the Avalanche and Devils game, as Jack Hughes scores twice in the Devils' 4-3 overtime win over the Colorado Avalanche on Tuesday. One of those goals was the overtime game-winning goal for his second of the game. Scored a minute and 53 seconds into overtime. 8th goal of the season for Jack Hughes. He's tied 8th among skaters for first in goals. He passed Scott Niedermayer for second place on the Devils' all-time overtime goals list with his 9th career overtime goal. Patrick Elias leads the Devils with 16 overtime goals, and they stay red hot. They have won 8 in a row. And fun fact, this is the Devils' longest winning streak in franchise history since their 13-game winning streak in the 2022-23 NHL season, and they moved to 8-1-0 of the season. So after losing their season opener, they have won 8 in a row. And fun fact, the Devils are the second team in NHL history to record a winning streak of 8 or more games after losing its season opener, since the New York Islanders won 8 games in a row during the 1982-1983 season. We all know how dangerous that New York Islanders team was back in the 1980s, winning 3-4 consecutive Stanley Cups in the 1980s and going to, I believe, 5 or 6 Stanley Cup finals. The only reason why I say 5 or 6, because I believe one of those Stanley Cup finals they lost to the Edmonton Oilers. Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Yari Curry was on the team then. They had Grant Fuhr in that. But anyway, going back to the Avalanche and Devils game, Arnas Griskew's, hopefully I pronounced that name right, scored for the New Jersey Devils. He had a goal in this game as well. Second career NHL goal for the kid. He was the Devils' 5th round pick in the first round of the 2019 NHL draft. He gets his second career NHL goal. Connor Brown also scored for the Devils in this game for his 5th season on a clean breakaway. Avalanche turned the puck over. Devils head back the other way on the breakaway. I believe this goal happened in the second period, and Connor Brown scores on that breakaway for the Devils. Jake Allen made 21 saves on 24 shots facing net. He's won his past 5 starts. He's been the starting goalie since Jacob Markstrom was out for injury on October 13. Good news, though, for the Devils is that he is expected to play during the Devils' 4-game road trip, which starts in Colorado tomorrow against the Avalanche. The same Avalanche team that they played on Sunday at home. They will be starting their 4-game road trip in Colorado against the Avalanche. So Avalanche looking for a bounce-back win at home against the Devils. Brett Pesce left this game with an upper body injury for the Devils in the first period. He blocked a shot from Brent Burns at 14 minutes and 39 seconds into the first period and didn't return for another shift, which means more ice time for Luke Hughes and Simone Nemec. Luke Hughes recorded 24 minutes and 43 seconds of time on ice. Simone Nemec had 23 minutes and 35 seconds of time on ice. But despite losing one of those crucial players, the team maintained its offensive and defensive discipline to come out with the win. For the Colorado Avalanche, Valley Nichushkin, Nathan MacKinnon, and Brock Nelson all scored for Colorado. Of course, Valley Nichushkin and Nathan MacKinnon's goals coming in the first period. Brock Nelson tying the game up with 6 minutes. I believe it was 6 minutes remaining in the third period for the Avalanche, and Brock Nelson tied the game up at 3. Trent Miner made 20 saves on 24 shots faced the net. This was his first start of the season, but despite the loss in overtime to the Devils, Trent Miner showed composure and potential for his first start in his NHL career. And the Avalanche, not looking so good for them. They lost 4 in a row, 0-1-3 during the span. 5-1-4 the season, though, so still not a bad record, but I'm pretty sure they're looking to get back in the win column. They did play in Boston on Saturday, so this was a back-to-back for the Colorado Avalanche. They played in Boston on Saturday before playing the Devils on Sunday, which was a 3-2 loss for the Avs in Beantown in Boston. But as I mentioned before, these two teams will play again in Colorado on Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Again, NHL Frozen Frenzy Day tomorrow. And like I said, this is the start of a 4-game road trip for the New Jersey Devils. But moving on from that game to the Sharks and Wild game. Macklin Celebrini, he scores in overtime as the Sharks win a wild one, 6-5 in overtime against the Minnesota Wild. No pun intended right there. He scored 3 minutes and 47 seconds into overtime. And Macklin Celebrini finishes this game with a 3.9, 1 goal, 2 assists for a 3.9. He extends his point streak to 4 games, which he has 10 points during that span. 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points during a 4-game point streak. He's been red hot of late. And his overtime goal came on a breakaway after Yaroslav Askarov made a save on Brock Faber's shot. Macklin Celebrini sprints out on a breakaway, scores the overtime game-winning goal, and the Sharks move to 2-5-2 of the season. William Eklund finishes this game with a 3.9 as well. 2 goals and assists for a 3.9 for William Eklund. And his offense contributions provide a spark in this one for the San Jose Sharks. Michael Misa scored his first career NHL goal at 13 minutes and 35 seconds of the first period on the rebound. So, of course, he was the Sharks' second overall pick in the first round of the 2025 NHL draft. After the Islanders drafted Matthew Schaefer, Sharks had the second overall pick, and they drafted Michael Misa. Michael Misa gets his first career NHL goal, and many more to come because he was a elite goal scorer in the OHL for the Saginaw Spirit. He's going to be it's probably too early to say this on the big stage, but he's going to be a elite goal scorer in the NHL. He was a healthy scratch in the Sharks' last game against the Devils, but at least he gets on the board, scoring his first career goal in the state of hockey of Minnesota. So pretty sure that's feel good for the kid. Ryan Reeves, Tyler Toffoli also scored in this game for the Sharks. Of course, Tyler Toffoli's goal coming on the power play in the third period. Ryan Reeves' goal coming in the second period. How great was that fight the other night in New York against New York Rangers? Ryan Reeves versus Matt Rempe. Matt Rempe had the size advantage though. But yeah, that was a great fight on Broadway between Ryan Reeves and Matt Rempe. Really enjoyed the fight. Rangers still trying to figure out their struggles because they have been losing game after game after game after game and can't seem to win at home. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know what New York is doing at this point. But despite the losses and the struggles, it was pretty good to see that Ryan Reeves and Matt Rempe fight. But Yaroslav Askarov, who made 28 saves on 33 shots, faced the net. And for the Minnesota Wild, Marco Rossi and Ryan Hartman each had a goal and assist for a 2.9. Of course, Ryan Hartman's goal coming on the power play in the third period. Marcus Johansson scored on the power play as well. Z Bullion recorded his second career NHL goal, and Joe Eriksson Ek also scored for the Wild. While Jesper Wallstedt, made 19 saves on 25 shots faced in net, and the Wild have lost their third straight game. They also lost 6 of the past 7 games, which they're 1-4-2 during the span, and they're 3-5-2 of the season. The Wild, they will continue their 6-game homestand against the Winnipeg Jets Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So a little Central Division showdown right there. The Sharks will return home to start a 4-game homestand against their California rivals, the LA Kings, Tuesday at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on ESPN as part of a triple header on NHL Frozen Frenzy Day. And the Sharks, they finished their 4-game road trip with a 2-2-0 record. Both of those wins coming in with a 6-5 win in overtime. One being against the New York Rangers last Thursday. Macklin Celebrini hat-trick in that game. Also the Ryan Reeves and Matt Rempe fight in that game. And, of course, a 6-5 win in overtime against the Minnesota Wild. So both of those wins coming in overtime, with the final score being 6-5. We're moving on from that game from Minnesota to Winnipeg, as the Utah Mammoth, they hold off the Winnipeg Jets with a 3-2 win in Winnipeg, and they move to 8-2-0 of the season. Dylan Guenther netted the game-winning goal with 5:36 remaining in the third period, and the Utah Mammoth have won 7 in a row. Red hot of late. I did expect the Mammoth to do well this season. Maybe I didn't expect them to do this well heading into the 2025-26 NHL season. I expected some signs of improvement from the Mammoth, probably finishing as a wild card team to end the season. But the Mammoth, they have came out all gas, no brakes. They have won 7 in a row, so they are red hot of late. Mikhail Sergachev, Michael Carconi also scored for the Mammoth, while Vika Vanacek made 28 saves on 30 shots faced the net, made some key saves in the final seconds of that third period for the Mammoth to hold off the Jets for the 3-2 win. And his performance was instrumental in securing the victory and extending the Mammoth's winning streak. For the Jets, Dylan DeMello and Mark Scheifele scored for Winnipeg. Both of those goals coming in the second period. Scheifele's goal coming on the power play, and Connor Hellebuck made 29 saves on 32 shots faced in net. And the Jets have lost 2 of their 3 last games following their 5-game winning streak, and they moved to 6-3-0 of the season. The Jets are on the road Tuesday in the state of hockey against the Minnesota Wild at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time for a Central Division showdown. The Mammoth conclude their 4-game road trip in Edmonton against the Oilers Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Other games from the Sunday slate, the Kings win 3-1 against the Blackhawks. So unfortunately, the Blackhawks' 5-game point streak comes to an end. They were 4-0-1 in their last 5 games coming into that game on Sunday. And I was hoping the Blackhawks can take advantage of the LA Kings because they have fresh legs. They haven't played since Thursday coming into this one. The Kings played a back-to-back set. They were in Nashville on Saturday. And they lost in the shootout 5-4 in the shootout to Nashville. So I was hoping the Blackhawks can take advantage and continue their point streak. Fortunately, not the case in this one, as the 5-game point streak comes to an end. The Stars went 3-2 against the Predators in the Central Division showdown. The Stars scored 3 unanswered goals against the Predators to hold on for the 3-2 win. Predators, again, playing a back-to-back home set. They faced off against the Kings on Saturday. 5-4 shootout win for the Preds. Went to 9 rounds in the shootout, by the way. Unfortunately, couldn't get the 3-2 win over their Central Division rivals, the Dallas Stars. The Flames win 5-1 against the New York Rangers. They end their 8-game losing skid. The Rangers have lost 6 of their last 7 games. Mike Sullivan, I know it's too early to say this win the first month of hockey, but it is a possibility that Mike Sullivan could be in the hot seat and could possibly be on his way out of Broadway. Again, I don't want to make any overreactions to this, or I know it's too early to say this, but the Rangers need to find their way. They can't win at home. And surprisingly, they could win on the road because they've been dominant on the road. But unfortunately, in this one, not the case, as the Flames put an end to their 8-game losing skid and come out with a 5-1 win over the Rangers. So I don't know what's up with New York right now. To be honest, I didn't even expect this start for the Rangers. I figured since they have a really good head coach and Mike Sullivan behind the bench, they made a couple moves. I figured this team could edge its way or back into playoff contention after missing out on the playoffs last year after winning the President's Trophy prior to the 2024-25 season. I thought they would be creeping their way back into the playoffs, or at least close to a playoff spot. But the Rangers, I don't know. They can't seem to win. They can't seem to win at home, and they couldn't come out with the win on the road in Calgary. Another game that was on the Sunday slate, Oilers and Canucks. Canucks winning against the Oilers in overtime. Kiefer Sherwood with the overtime game-winning goal. I believe he had a 2-goal game in this one, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, he had a 2-goal game in this one. One of those goals being the overtime game winner. And the Canucks, they moved to 5-5-0 of the season. They're right there, tied with the Blackhawks with 10 points, tied with the Oilers and Predators for 10 points as well, trying to get in a wild card spot in the Western Conference. But we'll see what happens from here on forward. We got 2 NHL games on the slate for today, starting with the St. Louis Blues taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Steel City at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on NHL Network. Also, Rickard Rakell will not be playing this one for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's out 6 to 8 weeks after a hand surgery, so he will not be in the lineup for the Pittsburgh Penguins. With the Pittsburgh Penguins, I did not expect this start for the Pittsburgh. They are now 6-2-1 of the season. So they started the season off very well on a great start. Again, was not expecting to start from Pittsburgh. They are second place in the Metropolitan Divisions. So we'll see what happens in this game. The Blues, they are 3-4-1 of the season. They lost 2 in a row. One of those losses being a 6-4 loss to Detroit Red Wings on Saturday. They led the game 4-0 against Detroit, and then they lose the lead, and the Red Wings score 6 goals in the 6-4 win over the Blues. So Blues looking for a bounce-back win in the Steel City against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And then the other game on the slate for today got a Atlantic Division showdown between the Boston Bruins and the Ottawa Senators at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. This game will air on Amazon Prime for Canadians only, so you won't be able to watch the game if you're living in the U.S. This game will air on Amazon Prime to my fellow Canadians up north. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure to follow the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. We are with you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 a.m. to noon Central Time, 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you have not already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, hit that notification button so you won't miss an episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. And don't forget that either later on today or tomorrow morning, there will be a preview video of the NHL Frozen Frenzy up on the TG Hockey channel. Later on today or tomorrow morning, I'll get more into depth about that. Like I said, it's usually a day, usually happens on Tuesdays from my perspective. And all 32 NHL teams will be in action. 16 games, 32 teams, one great night of hockey, one event that you will not want to miss. And the NHL started doing this at the start of the 2023-24 season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's when they started doing the NHL Frozen Frenzy. But yeah, it is a fun event to look forward to every year. Lots of hockey going on that day. This day usually happens on a Tuesday by the end of October or near the end of October. This day usually happens on a Tuesday near the end of October. Always a great day to look forward to for hockey fans. Both of you guys have a great rest of your day. Keep God first as always. Be blessed. I'll see you guys. Well, I'm debating if I want to do an episode on Wednesday because, like I said, it's Frozen Frenzy Day. And there's going to be a lot of games on the slate. There'll be no episode on Wednesday. I will do a recap video of the Frozen Frenzy on the TG Hockey channel. So I don't think I'll be putting out an episode on Wednesday because of NHL Frozen Frenzy Day. So there will be a recap video on the TG Hockey channel for you guys to take a look at on NHL Frozen Frenzy Day. So yeah, I'll see you guys on Friday on Halloween for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.